At the end of this video, you would have learned the special ability of shutting your damn mouth. I want you to sit down and think of a time where you wished you have closed your mouth. Whether it have been you blurting out something that you wish you didn't blurt out, or oversharing to someone that you should have known better to not overshare to, or said something in an emotional response and then instantly regretted because you hurt the person's feelings. Any type of situation, we've all faced that moment where we were sat there to ourselves, cringing at the fact that we should have just kept this little thing closed. Now, the beauty about the ability to speak is that we can communicate with each other and build relations and things of that nature. However, the problem is having an unregulated mouth, not knowing when or how to keep quiet. That's the big problem that a lot of people face in today's society. And you see it all over social media. Do you see the amount of things people be oversharing? Like, it's a madness out there. I think we all know an example of where we were sat there watching the video like, this could have been kept in the closet. Maybe you shouldn't have shared that with us, you know? But that's the thing. People don't know how to keep quiet because most people don't understand how much they speak. Most people don't grasp how much they talk because we all think that there's someone talking more than us, that we fail to look at ourselves inwardly. This happened to me as of recently. I wasn't a blabbermouth. I've never been someone to overshare my business. However, recently I did look at a certain Bionicle that I have, which is this guy. And his name is Nuju, so that's what I'm going to be referring to him as in the video. So pay attention to the name because it's very important. I remember last year reading up about Bionicle characters. One particular thing I noticed about this guy, Nuju, is that when he grew older, he stopped speaking. And his form of communication was having a translator to say the important things that he wanted to say. Other than that, he never spoke in the proper language to speak to other people because he felt that if someone didn't take the time to understand the language that he's speaking, then they weren't worth having a conversation with. And when I first read that, I was like, that's ridiculous. This guy is just high and mighty. Who does this guy think he is? Like, why does he think that he's above it all? But then when I really sat there and thought of it as of recently, it made so much sense. Because I remember reading comic books or watching movies with this character in it, and he had a team of 6 altogether, including himself. And one thing that they were known for as a team was constant arguing. They would squabble about the most silly things and always just yip yap to each other and often get diverted from the mission. But although they won in the end, surely one would walk away from that situation like, that was such a nightmare. The amount of times we argued and bickered and did all kinds of nonsense. Like, you get to a point when you're older and you just don't want to waste your time putting in words that don't mean anything.
I'm through making plans.
Well, that's the first good thing I've heard since I've been hideous.
Regardless of how we look, it might be better if we use our energy to find out why we've become whatever it is we are.
So when I heard him say that he wants to have speech that matters, that, you know, made a lot of sense to me. Now, am I saying you should be a mute? Absolutely not. I'm not saying that you should be a mute, but there's an interesting key thing in that character's description. I don't even know if the creator knew the weight of what he said, but if someone can't take the time to speak the language that I speak, then that means they are not worth speaking to at all. And as you're watching this video, the only language you should be speaking is love, peace, and positivity. And if an individual that you come across isn't taking the time and effort to speak and understand the language that you're speaking, then there's no point in talking to that person. Because negativity is not a language that you should be speaking or engaging with at all. Always counter negativity with the language of positivity or silence. And as you get older, you start to realize that a lot of these arguments or pointless discussions or idiotic conversations that cause nothing but negative energy, they could easily be avoided by keeping quiet. Not chipping in your 2 cents. Not trying to make a point and not trying to just get a word in, just keeping silent. In the older days, they stopped arguing. At least he was never around to see the arguments because he just kept quiet. He just kept quiet, you know, and if he had to say something important, he would say something important. But if he didn't, he's keeping quiet. What am I trying to say to you guys? Silence will be your best friend. But you have to be comfortable with being silent. You can't be talking and oversharing all the time. You can't be just putting your words in all kinds of unnecessary things because it's wasting time. I always like to say this thing that God gave us 2 eyes, 2 ears, and 1 mouth. So the ears are to hear, the eyes are to observe, and the mouth is 1 thing. And 1 is a very special number. 1 means like there's a lot of value to it, because once something comes out of that mouth, you can't take it back in. Do you get what I'm saying? So when you speak, make sure your words have value and weight. This lesson is further supported by the Bible in Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 7, when it says, "There's a time to rend and a time to sow, and a time to keep silent and a time to speak." The Bible commends those who keep silent, because when you learn how to keep silent and make peace with not having to say something, that shows how much self-control you have. It's one of the fruits of the Spirit. However, don't keep quiet in the sense where it's something important. Like I said, I use the character of Nuju in this context, that he speaks when he has to say something important. He will tell his translator to say something when it's of importance. So when there's a serious matter, yes, he will share his opinion, he will share his thoughts, he will say whatever it is. But if it's not that, he doesn't need to speak. And you'll notice that a lot of times when there's these crazy, weird times or arguments, the best way you could have avoided that argument, that negative situation, trying to prove something that's right to someone, or getting into a silly little confrontation, you could have just kept quiet. Speak with your loved ones. Speak when it's important. Speak when you have to do something for work. Speak in a sense where it matters. But if it doesn't matter, if it's going to lead to negative situations, or it's going to make you look foolish, or reveal too much of your hand, don't speak at all. That's the difference. You got to have a balance with it, because some people are going to walk away from this going like, I'm going to have to be a mute now. And some people are going to walk away this getting the wrong message. But the main thing you have to understand about your mouth is that it's very powerful. The tongue is very powerful. So speak in a wise manner. That's what I can tell you. Speak in a wise manner. Take it from Nuju. Take it from the Bible. All right? Speak when it's only positive things. Speak with wisdom. Speak like you have the will of God inside you. And then keep quiet, because that'll avoid you from getting into unnecessary things that waste time. Your time is precious. You can't afford to be indulging in negativity. God bless. Take care. And I'll see you guys next video, God willing.